Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new little project I want to experiment with called the Weekly Recap Show. Every week in the community I run for coaches called Misfit to Maverick, there's an open coaching and mentorship call where members have the opportunity to get one-on-one support with me in a small group setting. So it's part coaching and mentorship, part brainstorming, part contribution. It's just this creative powerhouse conversation that happens every week. And without fail, there are a ton of insights that always emerge, and during the call, we collect those insight and aha moments on a virtual post-it whiteboard. It's called a Jamboard. I call it a collage. And after the end of each call, I'm always so energized and think, gosh, there's so much good stuff that came out of it. So I wanted to try and experiment with recording a quick video for all of you, my YouTube subscribers, my email list, anyone out in the world who might be looking for some insight and some new ways of looking at your coaching practice. Let me just give you some of the highlights of today. I want to keep it under 10 minutes. I have 9 minutes left, so let me dive in and see what we can share. One of the first things that showed up that was very helpful was just remembering that if one of your goals is to create a client or two, which is not uncommon for coaches who want to have their own practice, please remember, creating a client or two is a result. It's a result of something. It's not really actionable. When someone says, oh, I just want a client, I'm like, I get it. And what do we have to do today that will lead to the creation of a client? If I said to you, I really want to win a tennis match, you would likely say, great. Are you out there practicing? What are you practicing? Are you practicing forehands and backhands and overheads and serves and footwork and mindset? Creating clients as a coach is a result of practicing. So the more creative question is, what are you practicing? Are you practicing? And what are those things? And through our conversation today, we really kind of unearthed there are these two categories of practice. One of them is talking to real people, busting out of your coaching bubble, getting out into the world and engaging with real humans, whether that's through coaching sessions, interviews and conversations, hosting workshops, leading weekly conversation spaces, facilitating talks, asking people if you can interview them about something, but as much as possible, talking to and listening to humans in the world that are going to tell you everything that you really need to know and give you a chance to practice your craft. The second category of practice is in shining your light. Are you out there sharing in the world things that you think about, your point of view, your story? Your personal story is your leadership story. It's a part of your work, and it's what's going to show people who you are in this space. So those two categories of practice are a place to begin, and that was a really great moment that emerged out of our conversation today. Let's see. Another thing that came up, and we wrote this down, is this idea that it can oftentimes feel like in order for things to happen, we have to be busy all the time. I remember feeling this way a lot, like particularly in the first years of my coaching, where if I had empty time where nothing was happening, I thought there was a deficiency, that I need to be doing something all the time. I need to be busy all the time. I think that's an offshoot of just like the 8-hour workday, the 7-hour workday, however you're used to or think it's supposed to be. We think, well, if I'm not working for all this time, then I'm not doing my best work. But when it comes to creating our own practice, I really love the metaphor of like how bamboo grows. I think it was one of my mentors, John Morgan, that first presented this, but bamboo spends a lot of time propagating underground where you can't see it. And it can be very dormant for a while before a sprig of bamboo pops up. So rather than maybe looking at like how busy you are or how much stuff is happening in one day, really ask yourself if at least once a day during the weekdays, you're planting at least one seed. And hopefully planting a seed in those categories of either connecting with another human or shining your light. So again, your work day when things are quiet might look like putting one video out on YouTube like this, or sending an email to someone and saying, how are you? It's been a while. You want to connect for a conversation? I'd love to hear what you're up to. And that is the seed that you've planted. And while at that moment when you're done with that thing, it might be like, well, what do I do now? It's okay for there to be space, because during those pockets of time, there are things happening. Remember, being a coach and having a practice is a marathon. It's not a sprint. There's this expectation that everything is supposed to happen right away. Well, I sent the email. Why aren't they writing me back? I put this out there. Why aren't I getting the discovery call? Let yourself kind of breathe and have some air, and trust that you don't have to do as much as you think for ripples to start going out and perhaps affecting things in ways that you won't see yet. Someone on the call today said, oh yeah, this doctor I've been talking to for about a year just referred someone to me. And a year is like nothing. I know it feels like a long time when you're in it, but that is the territory that we're in, is slow and steady. What else do we got? Because I have 3 minutes and 2 seconds left. Let's see. If you don't know how to describe what you do, if you don't know how to describe your work, ask people who you've coached, practice clients, anyone you've had a session with, at whatever stage of your journey. Go back to them if you haven't already and say, could you just tell me how this coaching partnership helped you? How would you describe it? Your people will tell you everything you need to know. Turn to them and ask for their feedback as a way of gathering language to potentially describe to someone else the work that you do. That is just a very easy way to kind of get some of those keywords that you might be struggling to find for yourself. The first thing you do. Oh, this was so good. So one of the coaches said, yeah, on the call, she says, I just kind of always had this thought like, well, now I'm certified and now I have to charge. This is a conversation that could last longer than the couple of minutes that I have left. But when she said that, she's like, right, like I had this idea that once I got certified, then I had to start charging for it. And the thing that popped up in me is, once you get certified, it's time to start coaching. And I see this a lot, this almost this urgency around getting paid for our work. Don't get me wrong. I understand wanting to get paid for your work. Getting paid for our work is a result. It's a result of doing our work. And as quickly as possible, I encourage you to start coaching. Start coaching. Get back out there. If that looks like opening up 9 free coaching sessions for 9 different people in exchange for feedback, you can do that at the same time that you're also thinking about your business, about how to start building a website, all the things. I see a lot of coaches putting off the practice of coaching because they're prioritizing getting paid for it. And this has happened to me too, where like I spend time just waiting and thinking about getting paid when I could be out there actually doing the stuff. And I would argue that doing the stuff, actually coaching, even if you're not getting paid for it, but perhaps getting feedback, getting experience, getting practice, perhaps getting some word of mouth happening, is far more sustainable and will likely lead to getting paid and creating clients more quickly than if we just kind of put our work behind this firewall of getting paid in money. Because remember, people can pay you in lots of different ways. Their attention, their feedback, their commitment to whatever projects you're working on together. So start coaching. You can start coaching. And again, it can look as simple as you can put some boundaries on it. I've got 5 sessions I'm opening up for 5 different people who I've never worked with before. All I am asking is for your attention and your feedback at the end of it. And maybe a testimonial if you enjoy what we talk about. Oh my gosh. Then you're not only coaching, you're getting all of this feedback from the experience, from listening to this person, from practicing your craft, from building your own confidence in how you show up in the room. Start coaching. Start coaching. Oh my gosh. Another one, signal your work. Someone in the room today said, you know what? I finally went on my Instagram and I just let people know that I actually help coach people to build more consistent movement practices. And there were people who replied to her saying, I had no idea that you did this. We think people know what we do because we're thinking about it all the time. And I just want to encourage you to practice signaling your work. Does everybody in your life know that you're a coach? Does everybody in your life know that you're interested in the particular topic that you like coaching around, that you're starting to experiment with and share your point of view and shine your light about this thing that you like? Practice signaling. I think you'd be surprised at how many people you think know what you're doing, but they don't. And if they don't know what you're doing, they can't tell others about it. So practice signaling. Was there anything else? I've hit the over the 10-minute mark. I'm looking. There's nothing. I think we're good. Oh, I got to give you a bonus one. The last bonus one from today. Share examples of your coaching. So let's say, people don't, I wrote it down. Oh shoot, I don't know where I put it. People see themselves in examples. They don't see themselves in the idea of coaching. So if you're going on to, let's say, your Facebook page, your email list, your network, your text chain, whatever, if you say, hey, I have a free coaching session to offer, people are going to be like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. But if you say, hey, I'd love to set it, I'm opening up 5 coaching slots for 5 people I've never worked with before. Here are some examples of the kinds of things I like helping people with. Share those examples. I like helping people who are struggling with their sleep, who are 3 months postpartum and still feeling disconnected from life. Share examples, because it's through the examples that people are going to say like, oh my gosh, yes, that's me. And are more likely going to want to say, yeah, I'd love to have a session about this. Tell them kind of some of the things you love, because it will help them tell you what it is they could use some help with. Okay. This is great. I hope this has been helpful, everybody. Thanks for being here for the weekly recap. Sorry I've gone over by 2 minutes, but my first little introduction maybe shaved off a minute of that. I hope you're all well. Share your comments and your questions below. If you want to participate in a call like this, check out Misfit to Maverick. Have a good week, everybody.